Good evening, Music Multiverse listeners. This is Beyond Your Radio Show Album Listen Challenge. Two panelists have challenged each other with albums they have not heard, attempting to either expose them to something new, something that's maybe in their wheelhouse, or maybe something that's completely off their radar. Each panelist will explain the album they received, give us the genre of music and what their expectations might have been before they even listened to it. Maybe even some of the history they have behind it. Then they'll dive into the album and what they thought about it from start to finish. Then they'll score the album on a rating of 0 to 5. The album artwork, 0 to 5, meaning 0, that's not really much artwork, it's not very good. 5, meaning, wow, it's fantastic, it rivals yes. The album flow of music, which is the flow from song to song as the album gets to its conclusion. The musicianship of the band and the melody, which is 0 to 5 as well. The accessibility of it, which is it easy to get into or is it a difficult listen? A 0 would be a difficult listen that you have to listen multiple times. I guess that would, basically where Bjork would fall. The overall rating by the listener, 0 to 5, okay? So that's 5 categories, 5 total points. Your album could score 25 points. Not that this is a competition, but hey, why don't we make it one anyway? So let me introduce our panelists for tonight. We have from Williamsville, New York, Deb Armitage-Maloney, and then from Hilo, Hawaii, 6-hour time difference, Jeffry Johnson, Chef Jeff, who just gave us music bites on the website to Sonny and Cher's 1967 record. That escapes me the name of the record now, but yeah, he put out a appetizer, a dinner, and a lovely dessert according to that album. So good evening to you both. How you guys doing?
Great.
Very good. Very, very good.
Good. You've had a week to listen to these albums, and I'm assuming you're ready to go. So we flipped a coin backstage. No, we didn't. I just decided who's going to go first. And Jeff, I'm going to let you kick us off. So what album did Deb give you?
She gave me Raising Sand by Robert Plant and Alison Krauss.
Nice.
It was a good album. Well, let me start it this way. I really thought I wouldn't like it. And then I listened to it. And if I did not know, I would not have known it was Robert Plant. It's not his usual genre. It's not his usual voice. He completely transformed himself into somebody else. Alison Krauss, I've heard before. I thought I'm not going to put typical, but she is a good country music singer, and that's where her genre is. Those two meeting definitely had some wonderful ramifications. They complemented each other. I was amazed about how he was able to adjust his voice to fit with Alison. So I very much enjoyed the whole album. I've listened to it maybe 12 to 15 times in the last week. Wow. So at least it would have some reference to it. The negatives I have basically is the album cover. I can't even give it a 1. It's just, it was so average, and the other negative I have is the songs. There's no good. I don't know if you could really have a succession of how they are. It's just how they move across each other. It just doesn't make any sense.
It could have been in any order, is what you're saying. It didn't have.
Yes, and I believe it was just put there.
Any order.
The band very tight. Musically, it was perfect. I could not find any. I would give the music and the singers a full 5, no question. I really enjoyed it. It will be on my regular list of listeners. You brought me up, and then Mark just showed me before we started today that there's a new album out, as he brings it up there in the background. And I'll be listening to that probably this afternoon or tomorrow.
Yeah, your day's just started, really.
Oh, it's 3:00. I'm waking up. Just had breakfast.
So so on the album artwork, you're scoring it a
1.
1. On the flow of the music,
2.
the
2.
musicianship, band, melody,
5.
the accessibility, ease of listen.
6.
And the overall rating.
5.
All right. So we've got a nice, that's a great score. We got 18. So it's
It was a good album. As I said, I thank Deb. She turned me on to something that I will listen to.
That's good, because Bobby's my guy.
Oh, no, I've seen him many times live, but I've never seen him sing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are
Interesting.
touring, I guess. So that
Yeah.
that you may get to see him. So that album was produced by T-Bone Burnett, and he just has a knack for putting musicians together. He did a lovely match of people who they put together the tracks, unreleased stuff and written stuff from the band, called the Basement Tapes. No, that's not the band. Who is that? It's that's Bob Dylan and the Pink House, right?
Pink Floyd.
Yeah, anyway, it was Elvis Costello, the guy from the Dawes, Jim from My Morning Jacket, and they had even had a guest appearance by Johnny Depp, and they put all these, and the guy from Mumford, Mark Mumford and Sons.
What was the name of the album?
The New Basement Tapes. And he has this knack of just putting musicians together and say, come up with something. And he's quite the maestro in that regard. So Deb, did you think it was going to go over that well?
In my biased opinion, yes. But
Nice.
if from an objective standpoint, no, I didn't. I thought maybe I thought he'd score certain things between a 3.5 and a 4 for somebody that didn't know them as collaborators, but I guess he felt what I felt the first time you turned me on to the duet. So
yeah. All right. So now with the 18, we'll move the challenge over to you, Deb. What album did Jeff give you?
Well, it was an album I've never heard of before. It's a Hawaiian genre by Amy and Willie K, Reunion. They little bit of background on them. Obviously they're both from Hawaii and they're both Grammy nominated musicians, and they started their collaboration, I believe, back in 1993. And since they're Hawaiian, I can't really pronounce their last names, so there's a lot of vowels in there.
Just call him Willie K.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to refer to them on a first name basis. I've become close with them over the last week, listening to them whenever I can. From what I learned by doing some research, since I didn't know anything about them, Willie has been coined the Jimi Hendrix of Hawaiian music, I guess. And just because he has such a range in the different types of genres he draws on for his songs, and that Amy has been credited with rejuvenating the female falsetto in the Hawaiian genre. So I'm glad that I read that first, because I kind of paid attention to her voice a little bit more to see where I could pick that up, and it true to what they said. So the music spans almost every genre. I maybe even a little bit of opera, but a lot of blues, soft rock, jazz, R&B, Latino, a little bit hip hop. So it was very interesting, and I didn't expect that. I expected a lot of ukulele, and that was it. So
And we
that's
call the
my
music-
overall, little wrap up of just who they are and what the album is about.
Great.
We call the music style Jawaiian.
Okay. All right. Cool. So do
We
I
have our
start to
own,
score my things?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have, yeah, if that's what you want, how you're gonna roll, that's fine as well.
Well, I mean, basically, I can talk about all the different points and then give you my scores
Yeah,
later, but
perfect.
the album artwork, I wasn't thrilled with it, just as you weren't on my album. I mean, I wouldn't hang it on my bedroom wall. That's not a album poster that I would put up, I guess. As far as the album flow, even though some of the songs weren't my cup of tea, it kept me guessing as to what was going to be next because each song kind of had a different flavor to it.
Right.
So in that way, I wouldn't think the flow was as good as what I would have anticipated from other albums that had a theme around them. But this was a reunion. I'm assuming that they had recorded these songs before. So it's almost, was it like a best hits? Okay. So that makes,
yes and no. They've reunion because going back to 93, they did a different album. They have, I think, 9 reunion albums or so.
okay.
They've done a lot of stuff together.
Got it. Okay. Well, that was interesting. And what I did was, I tried to make some notes as I went through the songs of
Nice.
what, caught my ear a little bit. Like the second song on the set, it was very much like a soft jazz, like you'd sit out by the pool in the evening under the stars and listen to, the pianist. And it kind of gave me that feeling.
Mhm.
I can't pronounce the names of the songs. I apologize, but number 4, which is like something hula, it reminded me of a lullaby in the beginning. I like that. It was calm and melodic, and it was just nice. Number 10, that was like a little church hymn going there, a little gospel thrown in there. I thought that was kind of cool because it came off of one that was just very Hawaiian influenced. Number 11, that was, how do I want to put it? It was like Clint Eastwood met a volcano. It sounded like a spaghetti western type song, seeing him come up over the hill and seeing the town in a mirage, but then there's palm trees and surfing.
That's a fantastic description for that song. I
really?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Hawaiian Rough Riders?
Yes, that's it. I know I should have written these down. The number 13 that I really liked was, it was real bluesy. And I'm yes. That I love. Blues is one of my favorite live music to go listen to. So that was great. And then I think it was maybe the second to the last one. Started out like Dave Matthews a little bit. And it didn't follow it through the whole song, but I kind of felt that at the beginning. And then the last song was Edgier Rock. So the album ended on a upbeat tempo. So all in all, I preferred when the Hawaiian genre was mixed with another genre more I guess face forward than just Hawaiian music, because I'd love Hawaiian music if I was in Hawaii, but I'm not. I preferred Willie's vocals over Amy's, I have to say, but I do prefer men's voices anyway. So I felt that they complemented each other really nicely. And even though some of the songs weren't my taste, they were beautifully written and well executed and enjoyable. And I think the vibe would be there for almost anybody if, like I said, we could be lucky enough to be listening in Hawaii, but I was listening during the sleet and the rain. And there's no leaves on our trees yet. So maybe I needed the whole ambiance to
You needed a
appreciate
lava
a little
flow.
bit more.
Yeah, a couple of lava flows will help you there.
Yeah, that's true. We don't have those here.
Sure you do. Coconut and strawberry, that's all you
Okay,
need.
there you go.
And rum, yeah.
I should have made
All
one for
right.
tonight.
Next time, we'll have theme night with it. you
Oh,
know?
okay, that'll be fun.
So, scoring the album artwork, you're going with
A 1.
and
I didn't know if
the-
I could do increments like 1.5, but no, that,
Yeah, please don't make me work harder.
okay, we don't want to do decimal points. Okay, it's too late. I said a 1.
Okay.
I thought the
album-
flow
Mhm.
was, it was a 4.
Okay.
And like I said, it was because since it was a compilation of songs were written at different times and that, I kind of just expected it to be more like that than a themed album like The Wall or something like that. So the flow was fine because it just kept me guessing what was going to be next. So that's what I gave that.
Musicianship of the band, the melody,
5.
the
I like I said,
accessibility of the record.
the accessibility. Say that's a 4, just given that, the Hawaiian part of it is maybe a taste people have to acquire.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah,
And finally, the overall rating by you.
4.
So obviously, we have a tie, and there's no tiebreaker.
Oh no!
You both scored each
You have to
18.
do another album on the split here.
So I'm going to give you one right now. You have to listen to it, and it's a speed round. No, we're not.
No, don't do that to me. I'm a slow learner.
So
I
yeah,
thought that.
for those listening, Willie is a hell of a guitar player in all rights. There's not much he can't play or decide not to play.
On a sad note, he passed away.
Mhm.
It's about 18 months ago. I actually went to his funeral that was here in town. I've seen him, I'm going to guess 25 times minimum. I also went to, he got real bad prostate cancer and finally succumbed to it after about 5 years of fighting. But he is probably the most inspirational person I've ever seen on stage. And I actually got to meet him on several occasions. But for all those listening out there, if they want to hear a phenomenal song done by one man, he did a version of Oh Holy Night, which I suggest everybody just listen to once, and it will blow you off your chairs.
Yeah,
It will blow you off your chairs.
That's kind of like when we did this and the albums were released to who we were going to pick. I said, he called me, he says, I made a mistake. I sent the wrong album. And I'm like, well, you sent a Christmas album. So I modified it. He was, well, that's not what I meant. But this is how we wound up. But I do remember because him and I had this conversation maybe 10 months ago or 9 months ago or something like that. And he was saying, listen to this, and I'm like, wow, that's just tremendous. So,
And actually, on the 15th of this month, I'm going to go see Amy live down the street.
okay.
Yeah. So, and I agree with Deb. I prefer Willie's voice to Deb's. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to
You would prefer anybody's voice to mine, Jeffrey.
Yeah. But Amy is more known for her writing than she is for singing. She's written so many songs for she's written Elton John songs. She's written songs for what's the name? Jay Giles band. She's written a lot of songs for. She's been writing since the late 80s. So, and most of her Grammys have been for writing.
Okay. Makes sense because I thought the songs were great. So.
All right. So I'm going to thank my panelists for this first ever album listen challenge. I think it went off rather well. Hopefully this was a fun challenge that exposed some new music and some people revolve around that music. Maybe you'll go down a rabbit hole. Maybe you won't. We'll do this again next week with another 2 panelists and albums. We're on the web at www.beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, please like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our Patreon options that are coming soon. More new shows are on the horizon, and plenty of articles on our website that are there and coming soon. So happy listening, everyone, and thanks.